7,000 duelists competing for best duelist of Japan. What actually went down? Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. On the OCG side of things here, it would appear that the top 7,403 participants have been decided. This was the finals of that. So what actually ended up winning the best in Japan, ladies and gentlemen? Well, first place out of this event was none other than Tri Brigade with a branded engine, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't actually think that this would actually happen, considering, you know, like the synergy locks that you kind of have to deal with behind Tri Brigade. But it looks like that nice little sub splash was enough to allow this deck to compete. And from what I've seen in the finals, when this deck goes, being able to set up Tri Brigade, it's really good. Also, under the Verti Anaconda, if you have a Bear Broom up, you can just go ahead and drop the branded fusion, fuse away with the Bear Broom here into the Mirror Jade, because it's a Fallen Valblast plus a fusion, synchro, or exceed monster, which means that you can then trigger the Bear Broom after you set up the Mirror Jade, which is very, very cool. So we have one copy of Albion the Shrouded Dragon. We have one copy of Alpha. This was actually a pretty interesting tech choice, considering a 2 out of 3 format, but considering it does give you some bounceability and the access point to redrop this thing back on the field is pretty good. We have triple Ash Blossom, of course, triple copies of Effect Veiler, only one copy of Fallen Valblast. And remember, this particular build wants to use this as more of a sub-engine, and you're going to see something way similar to this later on when, you know, you just use Verti Anaconda to use this as a sub-engine to make sure that you can get to your pieces. We have triple copies of Maxi, triple copies of Rescue Cat. Of course, watching this get ashed was quite hilarious. Of course, we have the triple Fractal, 2 Karas, triple kit, and we have one copy of the Mercurier here. So remember, this is still a Tri Brigade card in name. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a fusion monster that lists Fallen Valblast as material. Quick effect, and send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to negate that effect. And if this is banished, you can add a Fallen Valblast or a monster that specifically lists that card in its text from your deck to your hand. So this does list Albaz in the text. We can search for this. Alright, that does generate resources. We can also go hard search for Albaz if we really need to, but there won't be much of a reason to really do so, because you're going to want to leave this in the deck 95% of the time. We also have triple Nerval here for our centralized piece. One copy of Branded Fusion. As I said, this particular build doesn't want to bulk down on exploring too many options of this. We have 2 Called by the Grave, the 1 Crossout Designator, the 2 copies of Tenki, the 1 Foolish Barrel. Then we have the 1 Branded Blade. So you can banish any number of branded spell and trap cards from your graveyard, special summon Ice Jade tokens. Then you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one of your banished Fallen Valblast or a monster that specifically lists it in its text, and add it to your hand. This does list Fallen Valblast in the text. What if we could recur this back to our hand from our underlying synergy that we've developed here and kind of get places? We also have the 1 Imperial Order, triple Imperm, and the 1 Revolt. Down here in the extract, we have 2 Shirag, 1 Rugal, the 1 Frigette, the 1 Bear Broom, the 1 copy of Trisbania, 1 copy of Almirage, the 1 Verti Anaconda, the 1 Harvesting Ginger, 1 Apo, the 1 Double Dragon Lords, the 1 Axis Code, the 1 Mirror Jade. Then we have the 1 Brigand here. Now, there was an issue where both duelists ended up forgetting about the cannot be destroyed by battle clause, which is very important. Alright, also remember, this is just a level 8 or higher monster to make this. Alright, this is just kind of free real estate to kind of step into here. And then we have 1 Albion. Side deck here we have 2 more Alpha, triple copies of Nibiru, 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, triple copies of Lightning Storm, triple copies of Dimensional Barrier, 1 copy of Red Reboot, and then 2 copies of Royal Decree here, wrapping up. Like I said, this is probably something that if Verti Anaconda doesn't get hit in our list here, that we'll come back to and re-explore in a couple of months, depending on how things get hit, because seeing that this underlying synergy here was perfected almost down to the core was absolutely amazing to see work out, ladies and gentlemen. Now, second place out of this tournament was none other than basically Brave Despia. Now, the thing that this deck had going for it was the fact that it would just meteor break boards. You could tell looking at this deck that everything here is pretty much streamlined all the way down to the optimization of the core. Now, remember, Aquamancer and Wright both got restricted semi via the last list, but I actually think that those restrictions are kind of helping out this particular deck, because that means that they now have more temporary flex spots to kind of adapt. And also, as you'll see here, the Despia package has been shrinked down immensely. That's 4 monsters. Then, of course, I've talked about in the past here that you're going to want to focus on those 2 Fallen of Albaz when it's more of the deck. When it's an engine, 1 Fallen of Albaz is fine, and if you're trying to make a deck out of it, this is where you're going to want to explore the 2-ofs. Or in the case of where you open both of them, and you're like, well, I guess I just don't want my free Chicken Tendy advantage that my deck's supposed to generate here. So we have 1 copy of Adlytium. Oh, God. Being able to revive a Mirror Jade post fusion play is really good. We have 2 copies of Aluber, 2 copies of Aquamancer, triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Now remember, only 1 Despian Tragedy. You can tell that this deck is not optimized, this deck is not designed for the grind game. It's more strictly made for those meta decks where it's going to crack the board once, and then it's going to just be in a good position at that point. We have 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz, the triple Maxi, the 1 copy of the Wandering Griffin Rider. Then we start getting into the good stuff here. So this is where we have the triple branded fusion. Then we have 2 copies of Fallen, or branded in red. Quite honestly, 2 of this is going to be where you want to be. Alright, the fact that you get a recurability back out of this is the card that actually lets you make the Guardian Chimera on your opponent's turn for the multitude of pops / draw power that we've all come pretty accustomed to here. We also have triple copies of Maxi for draw power, 1 copy of the Wandering Griffin Rider, triple copies of, we're down here, branded opening. 2 branded opening, 2 copies of Call by the Grave, the 1 Crossout. I love how the fact that this is a 1 and it's still stable. We have the 1 Draco back, the 1 Foolish Barrel, the 1 copy of Journey of Destiny, and of course, triple pot of Prosperity. I saw this Duelist was going for 6 a lot with this, which leaves you with 9 resources to be able to play the game. But you could tell with a lot of the hands that they were setting up with that the optimization was pretty much already present. There wasn't really much of an issue for that. And then, of course, 2 Rite of Armesia, 2 Super Polys. This just makes your matchups a whole lot easier, right? When you have a built-in card that you can basically break boards with, it just feels a lot better. I mean, considering you got to put 8k on the field before your opponent can resolve their Mirror Jade to pop up your field, in the mirror, yeah. We also have triple infinite permanents and 1 copy of Vanity's Emptiness. And then we also have 1 for Anaconda, the 1 Link Spider, the 1 Titaniclad, the 1 copy of the Draco Stabelia, 2 copies of Mirror Jade, of course, the 1 Dragon Masquerade, 2 copies of Lubellion, 1 copy of Guardian Chimera, 1 Quadratus, 1 Proskinian, and triple copies of Albion, the Branded Dragon. Side deck here, triple Alpha. Looks like Alpha was a pretty big indicator of their format this weekend. Technically bouncing back Mirror Jade here prevents it from doing its thing. We have triple copies of Nibiru, 2 copies of Token Collector, 1 copy of Lightning Storm, triple copies of Twin Twisters, and triple copies of Dimensional Barrier here, wrapping up a very interesting list. One thing I do want to note here about this player was his opponent did have IO against him in the finals. And you know how we're all crying about Imperial Order here being such a damned card. He actually set the Imperm in the IO column, activated the branded in red Chainlink 1, and then impermed on 2 during the end phase to resolve into the Guardian Chimera to break apart the opponent's board. And it was absolutely gorgeous to watch. Oh my god, like just the destruction of that field was wonderful to watch. And the last thing I want to bring up here, this set right here was sold during the event. All right, I think it was a decent amount of money, but they're already reselling at $300. And seeing that OCG had a little bit of a scalping problem as well here, I can't say that I'm really shocked about that, all things considered. So 7,000 Duelist from Japan. It's all come to a conclusion, ladies and gentlemen. You got to see Tri-Brigade branded, of all things, walking away the first place winner. And you kind of got a good idea of how the format is going to warp here in a couple lists, depending on how things set up. And like I said, I always love getting the chance to see how the metas will look here in the near future. So guys, what do you think? Please leave a comment about what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later on in the day with some more cool awesome content. Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.